On the debate tonight, the triple talaq row is back, with the Congress party stoking a fresh controversy. Mahila Congress President Sushmita Dev, in the presence of Congress President Rahul Gandhi, says that if they come to power in 2019, they will abolish the triple talaq law.
मैं आप लोगों से वादा करती हूं कि कांग्रेस की सरकार आएगी 2019 में और हम इस ट्रिपल तलाक कानून को खारिज करेंगे.
The BJP claims Congress is playing appeasement politics to woo the Muslim vote bank.
Look at the audacity of Mr. Rahul Gandhi. His party, from a stage to appease merely, says that if we come to power, we would not care about this Supreme Court. We will ban the ordinance.
The triple talaq law, which criminalizes the practice of triple talaq, was passed in the Lok Sabha last year in the winter session, but faced roadblocks in the Rajya Sabha as the opposition has demanded that the bill be sent to a select committee.
Despite the government moving an amended version of the triple talaq bill, although it has gained muster in the Lok Sabha, it's still stuck in the Rajya Sabha.
Mirror now asks, will Congress party waste India's efforts to ban triple talaq? Will Congress party dilute the triple talaq law? Let's debate.
Well, this is the question really. Now, we do know that the opposition had concerns about the triple talaq law, but to say that it will be scrapped altogether instead of being looked at, will that take us back in our battle for women's empowerment, a battle that is very hard fought in our country? To help us understand this a little better, Vaibhav Agarwal for the BJP, Ami Yagnik, member of Rajya Sabha for the Congress, Dr. Asma Zahra, Chief Coordinator for the Women's Wing of the AIMPLP, Shayar Khan and Karuna Nandi. Karuna Nandi is an advocate with the Supreme Court. I welcome all of my guests to this conversation. Ami Yagnik, my first question is to you. Whether you agree with the details of triple talaq as a law, the truth is abolishing triple talaq in India and making sure that people follow the Supreme Court direction has been a step towards women empowerment. Why is the Congress willing to sacrifice that at this point for votes?
See, actually what Sushmita ji meant was that we will bring a corrected version of the triple talaq bill. I think I heard the BJP spokesperson say that we will not listen to the Supreme Court, we will ban triple talaq. These were not the words by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court held instant triple talaq is illegal. And so as it is, triple talaq practice is illegal today. So if anyone pronounces it, it is illegal. But to bring a law and make a criminal provision in a civil law, it's a family law. We are talking about a family, and when you send the head of the family, the husband, to the jail, and you bring a criminal component, it's a small act which has been passed by the Lok Sabha, some 8 sections, and there is no clarity as far as what kind of criminal trial will happen, who will make the subsistence allowance to the wife, what will happen to the children, where the family unit will remain, how it will remain. So ultimately, law is to give justice and dignity to whoever. Here it is the case of women empowerment. We strongly believe in women empowerment. We would like to bring a law that keeps the family intact, which gives dignity to the women, and there's a women empowerment per se in its right meaning. So whatever the BJP says, I think they are absolutely not able to understand the concept of women empowerment. Otherwise, they are in majority. They claim so tall that we are in a majority. They could have brought women reservation, and there would have been
Ami Yagnik, my question to you is this: do you plan to amend the law that has been written and passed through Lok Sabha and reintroduce it? Or do you at this point want to scrap it altogether? Could you make that clear, please?
It has not been passed in the Rajya Sabha, of course, and so it would not be scrapping. It's absolutely an 8-section law. We need to bring a comprehensive law where we are giving women the right empowerment. She feels dignified at the end of the day when she says that, okay, this triple talaq is illegal, I am not supposed to receive it from my husband. And so there has to be some provisions of what the stakeholders have to say, the councillors have to be there. There has to be some kind of mediator in nothing is the present bill is completely silent. I think they have just made a slipshod work of it, and the women will ultimately end up only going to the courts, because as a criminal component she'll be ending up in the magistrate's court where she should not be. There is already a trauma of the triple talaq being pronounced on her, and then she has to go to the criminal court. She has to give a hearing by saying that okay, she will allow the bail to be given to her husband. She will not have any money to go there.
Right now,
who is going to be there for her legal counseling? So I think all these aspects will be taken care of.
I'm not able to get
Isn't this aimed at votes right now? All right, let me take the question now to Vaibhav Agarwal of the BJP. Vaibhav Agarwal, the Congress has said very clearly that it will not let the law in its current form pass. What is the BJP's response to that?
You know, I'll tell you what, in Congress, everyone wants to be in Congress and its allies, which is Mahagathbandhan, everyone wants to be the Prime Minister. And in Congress, everyone wants to be a parliamentarian and a lawmaker. The problem is that in Congress, they talk of law more than the politics, and that they talk of politics more than the law, and they are confused within their own stand. 95% of the Congress's strength within the upper house and the lower house are only divided on certain points within the bill. Sushmita Dev has come in and brought in a storm of opposition on triple talaq, and I'm telling you, as and when it will come up for a debate, you would see the double standards that will expose the Congress to its core. And as I would say that the Congress's attempt, it's a futile attempt for Congress to even try and stab the entire bill before it is even born. And irrespective of whether the bill passes or not, as the government in power, we have enough resources at hand or enough outlays within the law that empowers the government in power to actually make sure that the rights are and there is a parity in the rights of males and females, that as claimed by the Congress, and empowerment of women is not heard.
First,
they block the women's bill that was brought by BJP,
you have written right
then
now.
They block the triple talaq bill. Very unfortunate. Right.
Consider the bill that the BJP has tabled right now. Would you believe that is the best possible version of the triple talaq bill? Would you say, why hasn't it gone to a select committee? Why haven't you consulted with stakeholders in the community? Why has the government attempted to sort of strong arm it and push it through Parliament?
Okay, so first of all, if we were to just push an ordinance and not support the ordinance, in technical terms it is saying not give the power of law to the ordinance, then even if the ordinance would have been enforced, at that moment you would have said that we've pushed it forth. But bringing a proper bill legislatively, wherein presenting it in the parliament, getting it ratified by both the houses, or at least putting in the efforts to get it ratified by both the houses, and of course the lower house ratified it. Irrespective of, we say that we have the numbers there, etc., but of course the lower house ratified it. So it is absolutely not pushing it or strong arming it. First. And the second portion is very simple. Whether to send it to the select committee or not, the parliament has to function for a debate. Unfortunately, Congress has and are acting in a very complete gunda format where they don't allow the functioning of the parliament in a sane manner. Look at the budget session. Look at any session. Where is and what is the attendance?
One second.
What is the number of hours that we
you
wasted in terms of functioning of the parliament?
No, Vaibhav Agarwal. In fact, Parliament has functioned in this term, especially in the budget session and the budget session far better than in the last budget session of the previous government. So that would not be an accurate thing to say. But let me open this up to the experts who've joined us. Karuna Nandi first. He's an advocate with the Supreme Court. Do you agree with Vaibhav Agarwal's arguments?
For a second?
And do you think the Congress is right, Karuna, in what it's saying?
Faye, I think the Congress came late to this because at the in the beginning they were hesitant to perhaps sort of tell the truth about this because the BJP owned the narrative. Frankly, I would really appreciate it if your viewers that tend to be educated and English speaking would just Google it and read the 8-section bill. It is rubbish. It is not worth the paper that it is written on. Why do I say this? Why do I use such strong words? Because Section 1, purely, jurisdictional, does it apply to India? Does it, different law needed to apply to Kashmir? It's a standard section. Section 2, definitional, again, standard. Section 3, basically repeats what the Supreme Court had already done in the Shaira Banu case. 5 judges had made instant triple talaq, declared it unconstitutional, which means that if a Muslim man is married to a Muslim woman and says, and has had a nikah and says talaq, 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 this means nothing. It's like saying kabaddi, kabaddi, kabaddi. It means absolutely nothing. The section after that, Section 4, says that if he does say this, then he is committing a criminal offense. Now, this is the main crux of the bill, right? This is the only thing it adds. You and I and a lot of your viewers are, and a lot of the people on the panel here across parties, right, are interested in the rights of women. Now, to what extent does this protect the rights of Muslim women? This is the way it purports to protect the rights of Muslim women. It says that if your husband is either intending to divorce you, right, or intending to abandon you and says talaq, 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 then he is committing a criminal offense. Now, frankly, people have fights if a man says to a woman, मैं तुम्हारे साथ नहीं रहना चाहता, मैं तुम्हें छोड़ के जा रहा हूँ, or I don't want to be with you anymore and I'm leaving you and I am going to divorce you, right? It's the equivalent of sending somebody to jail for that. Now, what do we have for others, for Hindus, for example? We have desertion. So if a man is deserting his wife, then what happens? It is a ground for divorce, right? After a particular period, you prove desertion and then it's a ground for divorce. Here what happens is that he says triple talaq immediately, talaq, 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 and suddenly there is a criminal offense that happens. Now, that's something that I think is just slightly bizarre because you have a situation where marital rape is something that is allowed. A Muslim woman can be raped by her Muslim husband and a Hindu woman by her Hindu husband, right? And this is allowed. This the government is for. This the government says cannot be criminalized because it will destroy the institution of marriage. However, if this same man says talaq, 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 he can go to jail. Then let's come to custody and maintenance.
Okay. Let me so I understand what you're saying, Karuna. Let me bring in the other members of the panel as well.
The Domestic Violence Act, she already has a right to maintenance. Yes, sure.
Yes. Dr. Asma Zahra is the Chief Coordinator, Women's Wing of the AIMPLB. Dr. Zahra, where do you stand on the matter of the triple talaq law as it stands right now that has been brought through by the government? Do you believe that it should be abolished? Do you believe it should be modified? Do you believe it should be passed in its current form?
Thank you, Faye D'Souza, for inviting me to your show. First of all, let me make a statement that talaq is neither an issue of the Muslim community, it is not the issue of our country, India. This issue has been hyped, blown out of proportion. The status of the Muslim community is educational backwardness, they need employment, they need equal opportunities. Now, all the studies that have been conducted about the Muslims or the Muslim women, either the Sachar committee or other commissions, nowhere it has been said that the divorce is an issue. Divorce is divorce. The matters of marriage, the matters of divorce, matters of inheritance are purely religious matters. And these are the personal laws which have the fundamental rights guarantee under the Indian Constitution. So basically, this issue has been blown out of proportion and it's been hyped. And coming to the second part, the triple talaq bill, it's a totally ill-drafted bill. The bill gives nothing to Muslim women. There is more of criminalization of the procedure of divorce, which is instantaneous. It doesn't give Muslim women any kind of empowerment. The bill is only aimed at destroying the homes. The All India Muslim Personal Law Board organized a signature campaign across the country, and 5 crore men and women have stated that they do not want any interference in the personal law. And I will put before the audience here that out of the 5 crore, there were almost 2 crore 80 lakh signatures of Muslim women. And when this bill was brought into parliament last year, that is in 2017 itself, in the year of March, April 2018, we had more than 200 protest demonstrations across India of Muslim women coming out. 2 crore women have participated in a silent protest rallies saying they do not want this bill. This bill is being rejected totally.
From the women who are protesting against the Supreme Court order on Sabrimala? There are women who are saying women should not be allowed to enter Sabrimala right now. But the Supreme Court has given its order, and the Supreme Court's order stands. So the Supreme Court has said
there are two
that
things.
instant talaq is illegal. How do you enforce that without bringing in a law?
Let me clarify on this. When the Supreme Court judgment came on 22nd August, there was no protest. And the Supreme Court, it's a minority judgment that stated that the government can bring in a law. And this bill that has been drafted in such a haste without consulting the stakeholders. So if the entire debate is about women empowerment and giving rights to women, there should be some proper consultation, some parliamentary procedures should be adopted. It should have a legal scrutiny, and the bill is totally ill-drafted in a haste by people who do not understand that marriage is a civil contract in the Muslim community. And how can you criminalize a civil matter? So that is our main objection to this bill.
Why don't you move the court? Why do you want to do politics on it?
And after the Supreme Court judgment, we never appealed in the court. Yeah, and see, we have more objection to the government using this issue of triple talaq, politicizing it, and overall branding the Muslim community.
Isn't the Congress, I want to take this question to Shahryar Khan. Just one moment. Shahryar Khan has been listening very patiently. Just 1 second. I want to take this question to Shahryar Khan. Mr. Khan, I agree with what Dr. Zahra is saying. The manner in which this issue is being politicized for brownie points is actually very embarrassing. And now today, the Congress making an announcement that they will scrap the bill when they come to power. Isn't this also a politically motivated announcement? Aren't they also hoping to get brownie points from this issue? We're taking away from the women's empowerment, which should be the focus here.
You see, when this thing was going on in the judiciary, I was one of those vehement and vociferous critics of instant triple talaq. I was against it. I thought it is not only a crime, it is a sin. And we applauded the judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court. But criminalization is not the answer for that. See, it like the Honorable Doctor said, it is a civil issue which is being criminalized. If there has to be a liability when somebody utters instant triple talaq, and if he has to be penalized, it has to be a civil indemnification or a compensation. You can't criminalize it. Criminalizing everything, every aspect of a man's life, criminality will gain acceptance and respectability. You will have criminals walking all over. And the beauty of Islam is, in Islam, criminal punishment is very less. Hudud laws are limited to a few crimes. What is happening is that long back to the medieval times, every aspect of a public life, a personal life was criminalized, and now they had to cut it down slowly. So I don't think a bill is a law is an answer. And one more thing I would like to add is only after this bill becomes a law can it be challenged in the court. Till then we can only debate. As far as the validity or the pertinence of the bill is concerned, in today's times, I don't think there is a requirement for any bill. The Supreme Court has said instant triple talaq is invalid. It should stay there. There is no question. Once a husband goes behind bars, it's extremely difficult to prove that a man has uttered instant triple talaq. If you ask him in the court, he will say, "This is my first installment. I was going to say it again after 1 month." So, the conviction rate in the Domestic Violence Act, in the 498A, that is the Dowry Act, it is abysmal. This is going to add to the burden of the judiciary. I think this is, of course, politics is being played over this because the elections are around the corner. I don't think, this law is required at all. Criminalization, I don't think is required. But yes, instant triple talaq has to go.
Well, I want to now open this up for rebuttals. Ami Yagnik, there have been 10 known cases of instant talaq. 10 known cases of instant talaq since the Supreme Court judgment, according to the Times of India. How would we stop this without bringing in a law? And my second question to you, Ami Yagnik, is, isn't the Congress also politicizing this? Hasn't today's announcement been made purely with the elections in mind?
You asked me the first question, and let me answer the second question first. See, I think the triple talaq bill that was brought, we even at that time said that let it go before a proper committee. These are very sensitive matters. When we are dealing with the institution of marriage, we forget the children, we forget the unit of the family. Ultimately, family becomes a society, so it's a fabric we are talking about. And when somebody who is in power thinks that it can be brought in such a way that we are using the word women empowerment, and for every other aspect pertaining to women empowerment, gender justice, gender equality, you take no steps. And for so many, let us say for 4.5 years, suddenly you wake up 6 months back and you bring the bill and you just put it back on the Supreme Court because the Honorable Apex Court said that it is illegal and it is the government may bring a law. So you suddenly take all these support from the Supreme Court Apex Court's judgment and just bring a slipshod thing without considering the sensitivity, the nuances of the issue, and just make a bill and then you pass it in the Lok Sabha without taking it to the right people, to the right stakeholders, without hearing anybody, without looking at it in a vision way. And that is practically politics. And you have practically broken the family unit by bringing the criminal angle, magistrate.
No, Ami Yagnik, what was the need for the Congress to make this announcement?
Both the parties are playing politics over this piece of legislation.
When elections...
Absolutely. Sharia Khan, you're absolutely right. Both parties are playing politics over this. Why did the Congress need to make this announcement today? Please tell me.
In a holistic manner.
What was the need for the Congress party to make this announcement today, Ami Yagnik? If this has always been your stand from the beginning, aren't you looking for votes?
No, well, we have to tell that when we come to
possibly
power,
this
we are
was
going to correct
the Congress trying to look for votes,
and
right?
No, if the elections are 2-3 months away, I think the bill was only in the last session. It has not even gone to the Rajya Sabha. So if it is election time and if it is spoken at this time, we need to make our stand clear that this is not women empowerment by the ruling dispensation. It is practically you are hurting women empowerment, and so we have to make a statement. We can't say that why are you making it at election time? The country has gone into an election mode from the 4.5, 5 years. Nothing has happened. Actually, as far as women empowerment has gone. You talk about the
Karuna Nandi first. Just 1 second. Karuna Nandi first. Karuna Nandi, go ahead.
Children being raped.
Karuna Nandi, go ahead.
I think the point that Ami Yagnik is making that, look, why should they not look for votes? They are an opposition party. It is election time. Why? This is, when you have a situation where yesterday or day before, Yogi Adityanath says, and I'm going to show how the two issues are related. Yogi Adityanath says that we are going to not prosecute further 36 riot accused in the Muzaffarnagar cases, where some of the worst rape, some of the worst rioting happened, right? Where Yogi Adityanath also pardons himself in the same cases. Where in educational establishments across the board, the BJP and the Sangh Parivar has basically taken over a number of and has communalized. It's my view.
I think
the country in so many ways. Then,
I'm sorry, but can I understand what is this?
Not to protect Muslim women's rights, because
are we
what
discussing
Muslim
triple
women
talaq
need,
or are we discussing the politics of triple
said
talaq?
quite clearly that by
No,
the
ladies,
Dr.
one at a time, please.
Dr. Asma on the panel. What Muslim women need is financial inclusion, is jobs, is perhaps shelters. All women need better shelters, right? Is education. Only 1% of Indian marriages end in divorce. 1%. We are the least divorcing country. Muslim women divorce even less than everyone else. The least. They divorce less than Christians, less than Hindus, less than anyone else. So this is actually totally a strong man.
Are we not needed on the debate?
If the Congress is coming and saying that, look, we are going to roll this back.
We're not even talking anything specific in it.
Congress has also done something very terrible in the last few days.
Okay, so let's allow Vaibhav Agarwal to
But if they're asking for Muslim men's votes, why is this a bad thing? The BJP has made it clear that the Muslim man's vote is irrelevant, and in fact the Muslim woman's vote is irrelevant because the Muslim women don't care about this issue. So frankly, this is a democracy. Why should people not ask for votes?
Vaibhav, respond
not
to
fall
that,
in love
please.
with my own voice, please.
Vaibhav, respond to that, please.
It's such a big narrative that I don't even know how to respond and where to respond. What are we doing? Karuna, I respect the intellect that she's been talking about at the point she's bringing in, but this debate was politics of triple talaq. She's talking about everything else but triple talaq. Excellent. I'll be prepared for everything else. I have a press release from Women and Child Development.
Vaibhav, all right. Let me rephrase the question for your benefit.
If you make a point,
the question is this.
Empowerment, social justice empowerment, and so on. Do you want me to get into it or do you want me to stick to triple talaq? And I don't want to fall in love with my own voice.
Vaibhav Agarwal, let me rephrase the question for you. There's no need to get dramatic. The question is simply this. Is the issue, one second, everybody, 1 second. Vaibhav Agarwal, the issue is this. Is triple talaq being politicized for votes? Now, we put together a panel in where 4 out of 5 people feel that the current law in its current form, including a Muslim woman who is on the panel, believes that it is detrimental to Muslim women. In that case, has it just been used as a political tool? First by the BJP, now by the Congress. Has the BJP used triple talaq as a political tool?
So,
Vaibhav Agarwal.
The answer is no. The political theorists may want it like that, but the answer is no, we've not used it as a political tool. And I'm saying that very bluntly. And I won't stop short of criticizing my own party if need be. But this is something that we're trying to bring in a change perspective. Now, there are 2 perspectives on the 3 panelists that I have with me in front of me, and I will not touch Shahryar for the time being, because Shahryar has his own reasons, very practical and logical reasons that he's been vociferous about anti-triple talaq, and then he comes back and says this criminalization where he talks about 498A and so on. Everyone knows it's an open and shut case on 498A, that is another law that should be amended at some point in time, and I'm going on record to say that. So I won't shirk away from it. So that's point. But first of all, Congress has politicized it. Look at the timing. It's appeasement politics totally. Second of all, AIMPLB, whatever that political party is or the board is, they are not representing the entire stakeholders of calling so-called stakeholders in terms of calling entire population of Muslim women in the country. So I disagree with it. B, if they had an objection to the law where they are saying, oh, this law is so bad, this is completely insane, and as an educated person, and I'm stealing Karuna's words from her opening comments, for the sake of educated audiences, let me tell you this, that when a bill comes in the parliament on the table, it is open to public comments before it is tabled. For everyone educated needs to know about it. and they can comment on it, they can
but
object
has
it,
any
they
of
can
the
even
public
apply for
comments
a
been
pass
taken
to the
on
open
board,
gallery
Vaibhav
in the
Agarwal?
parliament
Has the
for being a
government
part
paid
of the
attention to
discussion.
any of
Taken
those
into
comments?
account. Are you aware of that? Is that
So,
something you're
you know,
aware of?
let's not
Have you
become
ever been involved in
lawmakers.
drafting a legislation?
Let's not become, sorry? Yes, I have been, Karuna. Don't get personal about it and don't get
If you had
patronizing.
ever been
You have a
involved in
habit of
drafting a
it.
legislation, perhaps you would realize.
I've been
Ms.
into
Nandi
full-time
Vaibhav
politics
First of all,
for 14
Vaibhav Agarwal, I
What
just want
you
to point
perhaps
out.
realize-
I just want to
I know-
point out
I know
to
legislation
have a
more than you
conversation.
do.
Just one second. One
Don't
second.
get
Let's
personal.
stop. Let's stop speaking over each other. Just one second. Vaibhav Agarwal, if you could listen to me for a second, please. Vaibhav Agarwal, if we're having a conversation about triple talaq and the rights of Muslim women and the Muslim Women's Bill, Protection of Rights on Marriage 2018, for you to turn around and say you don't know what the AIMPLB is, the All India Muslim Personal Law Board, if you don't know who they are and what role they play, isn't this an indication that you aren't taking
No, I
this
know who
seriously?
they are, but I don't know the acronym or the abbreviation. No, I don't know the acronym or the abbreviation.
All right, so let me help you out then. The
Well,
All
is there any
India
value to
Muslim
being honest
Personal
about it?
Law
They
Board.
Isn't that a
opposed the
long
instant triple
acronym?
talaq
It's
in the
potato
Supreme
for you,
Court.
it's potato
The
for
Bebak
me.
Collective and
That
other women
itself is an
groups,
acronym.
wanted the instant triple talaq to be struck down.
I mean, call
the
it
AIMPLB was
a
against
personal
that.
law board. I'll know about it.
Just to give you a short history. But they do. It's called the All India Muslim
I will
Personal
take
Law
this
Board.
back to Dr. Zahra. Dr. Zahra, you know,
Yeah, but I would
one
want
second,
to
one
know
second.
about
Dr.
it
Zahra,
as
here's the
Muslim
thing.
Personal Law Board.
Can't hear
Dr.
you.
Zahra, here's my question.
I'm not
While, yes, Vaibhav Agarwal didn't know what the Personal Law Board was, my question to you is about Muslim women, about the empowerment of Muslim women. Do you believe the scrapping of this law entirely would lead to that empowerment, or should it just be re-looked at and modified?
See, first of all, that is the level of ignorance in the people, especially the BJP. They don't know what is Muslim Personal Law Board. They don't know the basics that in this country, every religion has a right to personal law. And All India Muslim Personal Law Board is a collective united platform of all the sects and of the Jamaats. That is the first thing. Secondly, our objection to this bill, section by section, when it was tabled in 2017 December and again when it has come in 2018, both the times we have given our written representation to all the political parties from the opposition who were ready to understand, have a discussion with us. Even today we are open. We are open to discussion. We are open to any kind of discussion for empowerment of women. What we feel is if any issue is there, the stakeholders should be taken into discussion. That is the first thing. The second thing, if you are talking about empowerment of women, then it is very important that you educate, you give them opportunities for education, for economic upliftment. These are the basic issues which the minority community is facing today. Instead of that, if you attack on their family system, if you attack on their fundamental rights of religious freedom, that is where the community is answering back. Now the 20 crore Muslim population of this country, which includes 10 crore women, are united opposing this bill. And the practice of triple talaq, it needs social reform. And as per the Supreme Court judgment, the man who is uttering triple talaq, it has no meaning. So where is the need for a law? Our main objection is bringing this bill, forcing this bill on the community, which is something like cornering the Muslim community and denying us the basic constitutional fundamental rights. Yeah. Yeah.
According to the Times of India, there have been 10 cases known of triple talaq being issued to women after the judgment of the 5-judge bench. In one case, a Rampur resident was given triple talaq for waking up late in the morning. In another case, in Hyderabad, a very young woman was given triple talaq because she wanted to continue her studies. A 24-year-old woman from Bulandshahr in Uttar Pradesh was allegedly gang raped by 3 people, including her husband, who gave her triple talaq within a week of their marriage. And this, this sordid tales go on. October 26th, an NRI husband divorced his wife through an advertisement in a newspaper. The case is registered with the Hyderabad police. November 12th, Yasmin Khalid, the wife of Aligarh Muslim University professor, alleged that her husband divorced her first on WhatsApp and then a text message. A 27-year-old beautician in Hyderabad was given divorce over the phone just 25 days after she got married. A real estate agent in Hyderabad was booked for divorcing his wife. So my question is simply this. How do we make sure this doesn't happen without a law? Because while the Supreme Court says it doesn't count, within the household, if they do believe it does count, they'll throw the woman out. They'll abandon her. What do we do then?
See, our country has very beautiful laws to protect the rights of women, irrespective of the religion. What this law purports to do is limit those remedies. We need to be able to have a protection order, residence order. Stay in the house. Don't let the woman be allowed to be kicked out. But what this bill does is that it limits those remedies, because this is the special law, it's the specific law, right? So it says that it speaks of this sort of very broad maintenance and custody of the children, whereas the Domestic Violence Act is much broader. It gives a woman the right to stay in the house.
Just let me respond to that.
It gives a woman a right to a financial order, a right to, so it's a real problem. It's, what you're talking about is very important, and I agree with you that it's getting lost in all of this around this ridiculous bill. But I think a fresh bill perhaps needs to be brought to look at how to include and empower Muslim women, to make sure that the domestic violence remedies are being
I completely agree with you. That's an excellent point. And I want to take that point back to Sharia Khan, if I may.
For example, deciding these issues, that Qazi is able to protect women.
No, one second. Vaibhav Agarwal, there are personal laws. In this country, we have different personal laws, and until we can bring in one personal law, you have to bring in separate laws for each religion. Sharia Khan, this is a very good point that Karuna.
And you know what? Karuna is misleading the law in terms of the divorce, desertion, and this bill. And that's very unfortunate, Faye, because you're allowing a speech to be made on your show and not taking the point.
To understand what I'm
when
saying.
A desertion happens, there is a punishment involved for the man.
I think this person does not
know.
When
a desertion happens, there is a punishment involved for the man. There is a call Ma'am,
no, one second. Vaibhav Agarwal, we don't have a uniform personal law. We have different personal laws for different religions that take into consideration religious belief. That's why we have to have a triple talaq hearing before the Supreme Court. Vaibhav Agarwal, please. One second. I want to be able to speak with Sharia Khan. Mr. Khan, here's my question to you. And Karuna Nandi brought about a very important point, that it's getting lost in all of the politics, that there perhaps needs to be a clearer look at this. Stakeholders have to be taken on board, they have to be consulted, and we have to come up with a bill that truly empowers Muslim women. Because how do you make sure that when a husband actually issues instant talaq to his wife, that he doesn't abandon her, he doesn't throw her out, that she gets alimony or she gets maintenance to continue her life in some way, that she's not entirely abandoned and is not at the mercy of that husband. These are the problems that ought to have been solved. Now, I want to bring it back to the fact that the Congress didn't say that they will relook at it and that they will come up with a better law. They said they will scrap the one that exists because it's anti-men. Isn't that politicizing? Aren't we losing the point completely at the price of politics?
You see, Faye, as far as the Yes, we are missing the wood for the tree. See, as far as the maintenance is concerned, there is a Daniel Latifi case which takes care of the maintenance. It is a landmark case in the Muslim personal law. And as far as the Muslim Personal Law Board is concerned, Dr. Asma Zahir has made a very eloquent, very cogent point. But the thing is, I find the Muslim Personal Law Board was inert and not proactive while this was the entire thing was going on. I wish they were a little, proactive and taken matters into their own hands and come out with their own internal reforms, taking the stakeholders into confidence. But that didn't happen. I think they should have preempted the judicial process. I think that latitude was given to them by the courts, which they have forfeited. And as far as the empowerment is concerned, the one way I see empowerment can happen is by the way of education, women, going to schools and colleges, and which is, I think, slowly happening. I feel very happy, that's happening in the country. And as far as, again, coming back to the lady, the advocate there, I agree with her that there should be, I think there has to be a modified law, which is where the penalty is not criminal, as in, going behind the bars, but a civil liability, like, compensation in terms of real estate, wealth or something else. And going behind bars, putting the husband behind bars is not the answer, and nobody can take away the right to divorce from anybody, from the lady or the man. That is very important.
Thank you so much for putting that forward. Ami Yagnik, I want you to comment on that. Where is the Congress's B plan? Where is your modified Muslim women's protection of rights on marriage bill? What are you offering Muslim women in return of, when you say you will abolish or will you completely remove this triple talaq law, what are you replacing it with? Do you have a better plan? Have you worked on a better plan? Or is it just this political announcement that you're making? What is your alternative?
That's it, exactly.
No, we have already made arguments even in the Lok Sabha as a party. And if you see post-independence, we have got several laws all in the Congress time, and they lead to women empowerment. When I'm talking about women empowerment, I'm looking at the Constitution of India, that we give equality to women. And so when we bring a law, we see to it that we bring dignity and justice and equality to women, and that completely gives empowerment to women. That also encompasses certain other factors, like if you see the Domestic Violence Act, when we brought it in 2005, we have brought the concept of a protection officer and not the magistracy, and a counselor where the women can go, the family can have a counseling, and the unit remains perfect, the family unit. So on that kind of a modeling, you don't separate a man and a woman and bring a criminal angle in it. And so when the Congress party says that we'll bring a bill where there will be completely solving of the problem and which will end into women empowerment, we mean it. We don't want to drag everyone to, even the woman who has already had a trauma when the triple talaq is announced, she has to go to the court. Why should she go to the court? The man is also already behind the bars. The police has arrested him. She has to go and give a hearing that yes, I don't mind if he's released on bail. So what happens to all this? Does it make sense? That is it a dignified way of dealing with the nuisance of or whatever you call of triple talaq? You're wanting to give dignity to the woman and also punish the man. I think there is something really wrong. And so all the stakeholders will have to be listened to. Everything will have to go in a holistic manner when we are talking of women empowerment. Just because you're dealing with triple talaq and because the Honorable Apex Court has said it is illegal, you want to bring a law in haste with 8 sections. Have you ever seen an act which is done so slipshodly? So we did make our arguments in the submissions in the Lok Sabha.
No,
when the
tell
bill
me
was
something.
being
argued. So why didn't the Congress, and I want to read out the Congress's comment today, and this came from Sushmita Dev. Why didn't, this is what it said: I promise that the Congress party will come into power in 2019 and will scrap the triple talaq law. The law is another weapon of the Modi government to arrest and harass Muslim men and put them in prison. So tell me something. Where in this law does it say that there needs to be an alternative? That there needs to actually, where in this comment does it say that you're considering an alternative, that you will work towards the empowerment of Muslim women, that you will make sure that they get alimony, you make sure that they get property, you make sure that they can't be abandoned? It just says basically that you will remove the law because you believe it's not good for Muslim men. What about the women, Agni? Who's going to talk for the women?
Can I just come in?
No, we'll bring the right law.
Can I just come in?
We'll bring the right law. I think when you, when we have... Yes, please.
Voice challenge.
Yes, go ahead,
Can I
Ami.
continue, please?
When will you bring, what is the right law that you will bring?
Yes. So of course, the one which I said, that if you have to see the crux of the matter, if it has to be women empowerment, it has to be done in a very, very comprehensive manner. And you have to look at all the nuances and intricacies that deal with women empowerment within a family. We are not talking of violence against women on public spaces or sexual harassment. We are talking of a family unit. And so when you look at the Domestic Violence Act, and as Karuna said, that there are 6 reliefs given in that particular act. You can keep the child with you. You are not beaten up. There will be no violence in the family. There will be a protection officer who will visit. There will be a counselor, and you will also have economic independence. There will be money given to you, and so it will be done within a civil jurisdiction. And that is where the Domestic Violence Prohibition Protection Act has given some kind of a dignity, security to women. And so on that lines, yeah, so that is what I'm saying. That should be the modality, and that is what Sushmita ji was talking about, that we are not bringing a law where men and women are against each other, and that also with a criminal component. I think we should not fight in a debate, rather than look at it very constructively and the objective behind saying a statement.
Well, we've come to the end of this discussion, but pointing out what Karudanandi said...
Can I just come in?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Can I just come in? Can I just come in?
Go ahead, go ahead. Dr. Asma, go ahead.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, what I would like to say today is there is one more part of the statement that the MP, Ms. Sushmita Dev, has said today, that she has stated that any party, any government which is willing to work for the education and empowerment of women, they are ready to talk and discuss. So let us take the positives out of things. This whole triple talaq debate is a total non-issue, wasting the time of the media, the judiciary, the government. The real issues are the education and the rights that needs to be given to the women in the society, in the family, as a wife, as a mother, as a daughter. And in India, all the religions and all the communities face somewhat similar kind of issues, which are dowry, which are female feticide, and these are the burning issues of the nation. I think there is a need to debate on the real issues. Let us take the positives and let us work for it. And that is what is needed today. And that is what I would like to express through this platform, that everyone in this nation is ready to work for the women empowerment. The Muslim Personal Law Board is ready to discuss on issues of women empowerment, and we are ready to dialogue with any community.
Okay. Okay, that's really well said. And in conclusion right now, we must point out that for all women, and not just women in our country, not just the Muslim women in our country, we need the same things: empowerment, rights in their marriages, rights of inheritance, rights of personal wealth, rights of maintenance and alimony, to make sure that women are treated truly equal. And we have a very long road to go before women in our country have education and have empowerment and have jobs. Politicizing all of these issues is only going to slow us down, it's only going to roll us back, and it's only going to make this journey even longer. I appeal to our political parties. We are half this country. Please consider our rights with more seriousness than you're doing right now. Women in India are not just a political ploy. This is a very, very real fight. And if you're against us, if you're not with us, then you're against us. Thanks for watching.